The word epidemic comes from Greek, epi, that means about, and demon, that means people. It's a description in community health that occurs when a disease affects a higher than expected number of individuals in a population during a specific time.
Malaria, mosquito, the transmitter of malaria. This mosquito-borne illness is one of the longest surviving threats to our livelihood, as records of the disease go back nearly 4,000 years, and cases are still being recorded today. This is especially true in areas like sub-Saharan Africa, where between 350 to 500 million cases of malaria are diagnosed each year, though only a small percentage of them lead to death today. The largest malaria epidemics spread throughout many different countries in World War and World War II, killing over 100,000 American soldiers alone.
Tuberculosis, TB. This epidemic has been wreaking havoc on humanity for thousands of years. Caused by a bacteria that spreads through the air, this disease attacks the lungs and causes internal weakness, chest pains, night sweats, and terrible fits of coughing. In the 19th century, tuberculosis killed an estimated 1/4 of the adult population of Europe, and by 1918, 1 in 6 deaths in France were still caused by TB. Today, the disease is still around, affecting nearly 8 million people a year and leading to the death of about 2 million of those infected. The best way to prevent the spread of tuberculosis is to keep it controlled in people who have it. The cause of tuberculosis hasn't changed. It's still contracted by breathing in tiny droplets of an infected person's respiratory secretions. So if people with tuberculosis are quickly diagnosed and treated, these are less likely to pass it on to others. One possible solution is a new tuberculosis vaccine. The first tuberculosis vaccine was referred as the BCG vaccine. It was developed in the early 1920s. In many countries, including the United States, it's not used because it just isn't very effective for most people. However, BCG vaccine is still given in many underdeveloped countries.
Smallpox. Dating back to the 1500s, the smallpox epidemic, stemming from the variola virus, has ravaged entire populations. It caused the death of nearly 90 million Native Americans when the Europeans brought it over to Americas. Symptoms include body ashes, high fevers, and a serious rash that results from fluid-filled bumps that leave extensive scarring on the skin. The disease killed an estimated of 400,000 Europeans per year at the end of the 18th century. Even though a vaccine was created in 1796, in spite the vacuum breakouts of the disease persist, most recently in the late of 1960s when 2 million people died in countries all over the globe.
Cholera. This disease was common in India for centuries and moved on to the rest of the world in the 19th century. Most often spread through contaminated water and food, cholera causes symptoms like vomiting, diarrhea, cramping, and severe dehydration, which unfortunately leads to the death of those who cannot keep properly hydrated as their immune system fights the disease. Unfortunately, outbreaks are still occurring today, with an estimated 3 to 5 million cases and 120,000 deaths reported each year. The largest and most recent cholera outbreak began in Haiti in 2010. It has already claimed over 7,000 lives and has yet to be eradicated. AIDS. As one of the youngest diseases on this list, AIDS spread widely throughout the world in the 1980s, and since that time it has taken the lives of more than 25 million people. This disease is caused by the human immunodeficiency virus, which is contracted and spread through contact with bodily fluids and quickly attacks the immune system. There is still no cure for AIDS, although medications like highly active antiretroviral therapy treatments have been used to lessen its symptoms and extend the life of those affected by about 4 to 12 years.